Okay, hello friends. So today we are doing a kind of experiment. One of the candidate reach out to me. We call him R. Uh, or we let's call him a Ravi. I think that's pretty easy. Common name Ravi. Okay, so Ravi reach out to me, and he's preparing for a Scrum Master uh, position. I think he has. We will talk about a little bit on that part. So the idea of this particular session is just to showcase whether he is prepared or not for taking the actual interviews. I don't know him personally. He just reached out to me and he's requesting me from since long. So I thought, okay, let's have this conversation, but let's also share this with other people so they can also know that how they can prepare for the actual interviews. So that's the idea for this session. This is not a typical mock session which we normally do. And let's see, we are also doing the experiment first time. So hi Ravi,
Hey,
and
hi Sanant.
hi. Why don't you
Yeah,
tell us about yourself a little bit before we start?
yeah, Sanant. First of all, thank you so much for accepting my request and taking your time to prepare me and do this experiment. Okay, so just to introduce myself, overall have 9 years of IT industry experience, and now I'm aspiring to move into role into Scrum Master.
Mhm.
Okay, and for that, like I reached out to Sunan to help me out to prepare for the actual interview, I mean, I've done my certifications, Scrum certifications and all, but still I'm not confident enough. So I thought this session will help me to boost my confidence.
Not sure whether it will boost or not. That we'll
Uh,
see. Guys,
I
this is
hope.
going to be the actual interview. So I will maybe ask some couple of follow-up questions as well with Ravi, right?
Yeah.
So no preparation, nothing. This is like a straight interview. But then the questions will be pretty common, which I think many times we have covered in the past. And as a fresher or as a Scrum Master, you should know all these, at least those basic questions. So nothing typical, nothing going to be happen. Okay. So shall we start, Ravi?
Yeah, sure, Sunan.
Okay. So very first question is on conflict management. It's very important. I mean, I would say if not 100%, but 99%, that question will come in any of the Scrum Master interviews. So if you are a Scrum Master, how are you going to resolve the conflicts within your team? And if you can share
Yeah.
one or two examples, that will be great.
Okay. So conflicts, yes, as you mentioned, it's like a very common thing which happens in every team, every Scrum teams or everywhere. There will be conflicts because two people's idea will not be same every time. So whenever there is a conflict as a team manager or as a Scrum Master, first we try to understand where is the issue. Okay. Suppose just to give an example, suppose when two people are there in a sprint planning meeting, and they are not agreeing to estimation points. Okay, or else if another example, if I have to take during the code review, if there is a senior and junior members in the team, and junior member has written the program, and senior member is going to review the code, and senior member will be giving the comments to the junior member. So when the comments is giving the comments, if those comments are not constructive or he's not giving the actual feedback, instead he's trying to point out his mistakes and purposely he's making him feeling guilty, and making him like he's not up to the standard, his code is not up to the standards and all. Those kind of conflicts we can expect, like for a few examples. So to resolve them, yeah, if we take the example of this code review. Okay, so first we will understand, okay, whether the junior person's code is seriously not up to the mark, or is purposely a senior member is pointing out to it. We will try to understand the situation. Then we will have a one-on-ones with both of them. We will try to understand the situation from both the perspectives. First of all, we should give him we should give him a confidence or kind of feeling that we are listening to them, or his concern has been accepted by us. Okay, once then we will talk to him, like what is the problem, why is this happening every time and all. We ask him. Then once he tells like okay, he's not doing the work properly, or he's not writing the code up as per the standards, that this and all, then we will ask like, okay, as a senior member, have you ever tried to help him? Before giving the feedback, have you ever tried to sit with him personally and try to help him, give him a personal feedback or give him any inputs and all, like that we will ask him. But if he says no, then we will ask him to do that, like okay, from next time onwards, before the code review itself, you please talk to him, sit with him once, and like since he's a junior member, it is our responsibility to help him to come to to bring him up to the standards and all. We tell him, we convince him that way. And then also we will have a conversation with the junior person. Okay, and with junior person also, we check like what is his concern, what are his queries and all. We will try to understand his version from his side, and then we will give him feedback like, okay, since you are a junior member, or since you are a a new joinee to this team, do you know, like, have you understood what all the standards they follow, what are the things and all, how it is maintained here and all. Then if he says he's not 100% aware of that process standards and all, then we check with him like, have you ever tried to reach out to the senior members in the team and try to understand the process? And then have you ever tried to get the feedback or inputs from the senior members and all? We ask him like, if he says yes, then fine. If he says no, he never approached anyone to get the inputs, then we tell him like, okay, as a new joinee to this team, it is your responsibility to reach out to the people, senior members in the team, then like get their inputs, get their feedback and all, try to maintain the standards and all. That way we will coach him. As a scrum master, we need to coach them. That way we will try to uh, resolve the conflicts. And I don't think like these conflicts we can resolve in one meeting or with just one sitting. Maybe we need a couple of follow-up meetings and all with both the members to resolve these conflicts.
Okay. So I just curious on one or two points. So which you mentioned. So
Okay.
first point is you mentioned about junior member. You will had a word with him and then check with him whether he has access to all these coding practices or not, or whether he reach out to other senior folks in the team, right? So don't you think there your role is very important when someone is joining the new team? You have to make him or her very comfortable that, or you should at least, when say you means like in your starter pack, it should everything should be mentioned that these are the coding practices has there. Some KT has to be given by the old team member to the new team member. You have not considered all these points, or you have considered all these points?
Yeah, we need to consider all these points whenever a new member joins. Yeah, definitely we have to arrange a KT for him. We have to make sure that he has the proper understanding about this team and the standards, everything. Yes, definitely. But even after giving all that, maybe like if he's not following it exactly, or if he's missing out on few points, then these kind of conflicts might occur. But yes, definitely, as you mentioned, when a new team member joins, we have to arrange a KTs and proper knowledge sharing sessions and all to them. Yeah, I agree to that.
Okay, what about if we twist this example a little bit? Now, rather than having a conflict between a junior or a senior, now let's say the team member, senior team member is having conflict with you as a scrum master. So I'll give you an example. So
Okay.
let's say one of your team member is telling that your presence is not good in the planning meeting, or your presence is not required in a daily scrum call, or your presence is not required in any of the scrum events, just an example.
Okay.
uh, but then other team members feel that you should be there. Other team members are telling that he is acting as a lead or something like that, the senior folk, so
Mhm.
he don't want you to be there, so he just want to manage or control the team. That's the scenario, and he's very senior, like 40, 50 years old. He already in the team from last so many years, he know the code in and
Okay.
out.
Mhm.
and he's directly telling you that you should not come to all these events. So you
Okay.
have any idea how to deal with this kind of situation?
Yeah, according to my knowledge, yeah, first like we'll sit with him and we'll understand like what is his concern exactly. Why does he feel like that? We'll try to collect some data points, like why exactly
He
he's
told
feeling.
that, okay, he
Uh,
told that you are not providing any inputs, or you are not providing any valuable inputs to all those meetings, right? People are not
okay.
feeling comfortable in your presence. You are a technical guy, and
Hmm.
he's putting a lot of accusation on you that your presence is threatening the team member. That's the thing he told you.
Okay. So
Hmm?
in that case, like I will try to coach him, like, okay, so I'll try to explain him like, no, that is not the purpose, like why I am here, or and if any corrections or any changes required, I will tell him like, okay, I will do some changes if required, and like I will explain him the importance of a Scrum Master there, why a Scrum Master needs to attend all the events like planning meetings or other meetings, and I'll try to coach him what are the like agile practices, like what exactly is the Scrum Master role, how important is it. And like if I don't attend any meetings and if I am not there, what could be the impact on the team or what could be the impact on the output, and all I'll explain him.
He gave you an example that when you are on leave from last 2 weeks
Okay.
because of your uh, yearly leaves, yearly planned leaves. So
Mhm.
team was performed pretty well, and they are feeling more comfortable with me rather than you. In fact, you are not required in the team. That's his statement.
Okay. Yeah, maybe in that case, like maybe we can have an entire team meeting and we can check with them like what exactly bothering them. Like,
Mhm.
yes, Sunan, like,
Yeah, like what? Yeah, I mean, your approach is good. Like, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
see, maybe it's his perception only, right?
yeah,
Maybe he's thinking like that. Maybe he has his own insecurities, right? But if someone is
correct.
giving you the this role, right, responsibility of a Scrum Master, right?
Hmm.
He's not that guy, right?
Yeah.
So, right, maybe he's thinking something else. Who knows, right? This is some personal issues or this
Yeah.
and that, right? But
Yeah,
at the
in
end
the
of the day, yeah, it's a team.
team, yeah. We have to have entire team meeting and then we'll address their concerns and check with everyone what exactly is their concern or why is it bothering, how my presence is like bothering them and all. If
Okay,
required, some adjustments has to be made.
okay. So you are ready to do some adjustments, or the way you are doing all these things to change yourself itself based on the feedback.
Adjustments in sense, not the process adjustment, like the process that agile process or the Scrum process that will remain same. Yeah, if personally, like if anything required from my side as a person, like yeah, I'm ready to do the adjustments.
Yeah, it looks like it's more like a personality conflict rather than, or maybe a work style conflict,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's the case. Okay, yeah, Ravi, I think you have done pretty well over here. Let's move on to the next one. I will give
Yeah,
you the feedback at the end of the session. Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Okay, let's move on. Okay,
Mm.
so I think we have discussed about the team member is not attending. We already covered this.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
so now let's say your product owner is pretty new. This is
Uh-huh.
again most asked question. Let's say your
Okay.
product owner is pretty new, and uh, he's not aware about lot of things, how the Scrum work, or let's say he just reaching out to your team members, or team member reaching out to them.
Okay.
Uh, he's not able to clarify their doubts for whatever reason, and there is always a chaos in the Scrum calls. He's not
Uh-huh.
able to. People are asking some questions to him, and he was not able to answer. Most of the time, he just park those questions for future, but then he's also busy with other projects.
Projects, yeah.
So both, like, his competency is again an issue, and then his time availability is also an issue. So what do you do in this kind of scenario?
Yeah, in that scenario, first, the very first thing, the first action we take is like, um, we coach the product owner. We teach them the agile concepts, agile practices. We try to explain him what agile is exactly. And like when he's reaching out to the team members directly, we tell him for any changes or anything. Uh, we teach him like everything, it has to go through the Scrum master or the Scrum team. He should not directly approach the one person in the team and ask for the changes. It should always happen in the team meeting, or is it in the it is in the daily Scrum call, or in the sprint planning, or through any refinement grooming session. In such meetings, or in Scrum meeting only, it has to happen, not directly without presence of a Scrum master, is what we teach him that case. And also like for the team members who's directly reaching out to product owner, or for product owner who's directly reaching out to the team, for everyone, as a Scrum master, we have to teach them and coach them the agile practices, how exactly this framework works. And we
So
need to
agile
tell them.
practices say that you cannot reach out to product owner, or product owner cannot reach out to team member.
It's not exactly they cannot reach out, yeah, but they can reach in the presence of Scrum Master. Through Scrum Master, they can reach out to the Scrum team.
Why Scrum Master is required? Don't you think it's an unnecessary barrier? What Scrum Master will do in this session? So I have some clarification. I don't know whether this particular box should be here or there. And I just ask the PO, why should I loop you? What is you will going to do in this? Tell me.
Well, like it's like Scrum Master's responsibility to track the how much work has been given to the Scrum team,
Correct.
and like how tracking everything is like mainly maintained, and it's responsibility of the Scrum Master. So I feel like Scrum Master should be aware of any changes or anything happening to that particular sprint.
Why? It's team, right? They are doing the thing. They are going to do the thing. Why you are taking all these responsibilities? Who told you to track the work? We even not use the word track.
As a Scrum Master, like if there is any impediments occurs, then
They
like
will reach out to you, na? If there is any impediment, they will reach out to you. Why you are telling them that I should be there in all the communication? What you will do? Then you are acting as a project manager. You're not making your team self-dependent. They will always depend on you for every small task. Don't you think? What we taught,
self-management, yeah.
self-management, self, all this and that, but you are doing completely opposite. Don't you think?
No, like it's not like completely controlling them. It's only about like Scrum Master should be aware of what is happening
Why?
in the.
That's a big question. Why? Why you should be aware of that? Okay, what this changes from this box? Okay, I want to change the color. I'll just reach out to PO. Why you are required in that communication? That's a question. I mean, I don't think any. I am not able to think of any reason that why you should be required in all this communication. You are emphasizing more on tracking the work and is responsible to Scrum Master and all, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So that personally, I don't agree on that part.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Let's move on. So how important is backlog refinement? And sometimes people do twice a week, sometimes people do once in a week. So what is the frequency of doing this backlog refinement?
Backlog refinement, yeah. Most of the companies follow a weekly basis, weekly ones.
No, I mean, the
Yeah.
question is not what company follow. What is why it should be followed? What is first of all backlog refinement, and why it should be done weekly or bi-weekly? What's the
Okay.
requirement of
Yeah,
that?
in backlog refinement, mainly like if any developers have any questions or clarifications or anything is required, those things will be like they will be asking it to the product owner, where product owner will be addressing and clarifying any requirements or any unknown things, or If anything occurs, then like a product owner will clarify what it is. And it is actually it is like very important for developers to understand and to clarify their doubts and all. Like if without refinement, if developer assumes something based on that what user stories, if he develops something and at the end of the sprint product owner comes and like, no, this is not what we expected. Instead of that, having a refinement sessions and getting clarified everything and then making the changes then and there is very important.
Do you know that backlog refinement is an mandatory or optional event in Scrum?
It is not a time box event, and yeah, it is not a Scrum event exactly, but I feel like it is necessary.
So it's not time box. It can be 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 10 hours.
It can't be like that, but exactly. But in a Scrum, it is not a time box event. Yeah.
Okay. And okay, you mentioned about the use, that why we required. Okay. And how this frequency has been determined? Any idea?
Frequency determined like it based on the number of user stories and complexity of the user stories. It will be determined.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Okay. So one last one I think is regarding, yeah, values. Which one value you think is most important or is inclined towards you as a person? Which one is
Okay.
having more impact on you?
I feel the transparency.
Okay.
I feel the transparency is very important value. Like the Scrum works on the empirical process. Empirical is like it's like transparency,
Mhm.
inspect and adapt. And with the transparency, like if we have the insight of exactly what do we have in the product backlog and how much do we need to pick it up for this particular sprint, and what do we have in the sprint backlog, and what is the sprint goal or the product goal. If we have insights on everything, and if we have a proper clarity on what exactly we are going to develop and by when it is required, and who is our client, who are the end users, and how are they going to use. If we have the complete insights and the transparency, like what exactly is happening, uh, uh, that makes our job very easier, is what I feel. The transparency is a very key value, is what I feel.
Mhm.
uh, Through transparency only we can do the inspection or adaptation.
Okay. Anything else you want to add in this transparency thing? So how you
uh,
demonstrate transparency in your own work as a Scrum Master?
uh,
Or tell me and any past incident where you shown transparency to your team or to your organization or to your manager.
yeah, the transparency, how do we implement transparency is like if there are any sudden changes, or let it be organizational changes or product related changes, or any changes which are comes in, uh, like we go and communicate with the team, we make them understand what it is mean to the team, and will it have any positive impact or negative impact, how is that going to change our work here and all. Like if there is any changes like with the stakeholders, like any changes in the product or in the requirements or anything, like communicating to the team upfront and making them aware of what are they going to get maybe in next coming days and all, will make it easier.
Okay. 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 I think we are done with
Yeah,
this Q&A round. Okay. So I would say I just give a brief summary, then I will stop this and then I will head a word with you one to one, right?
sure, sure,
So
sure.
just for people who are watching this session, intentionally, I have asked a couple of follow-up questions. You might have seen I have never done that, but I mean, as we mentioned that we're just doing this experiment. So I think, Ravi, you have a fair knowledge, I think. but I still feel that your foundation is not that strong. I would strongly suggest you to at least, I'm not sure if you have some books or not. There are many books available. Buy at
Okay.
least one good book. That's the same thing which I keep on telling to all people who reach out to me, that at least buy one physical book. That's very important, that it should be in your hand, not in your in some PDF and something like that. There are plenty are available. At least buy one at least to start with. If you're really
Sure.
serious about your career as a Scrum Master, because it's a long thing, right?
Yeah,
So it's very
sure. So,
important. People just watch YouTube videos. It doesn't matter. It's whether my channel YouTube videos or other channel YouTube videos. You might get a job, but you will not get a career out of it by just watching those YouTube videos or any blogs or any LinkedIn post, this and that. All these things are good after you have some good foundation. So that's very important. Yeah. I think you have done fairly well. If let's say it's a some mass hiring, for example, for TCS, Infosys, or Wipro, the chances are you might be selected.
okay.
Uh, but then not for some big companies, I mean, who are more choosy about when they're picking the candidates, right?
Hmm.
So that's my feedback. I will stop this session now,
Yeah. Thank you
and
so much.
then we'll talk more one to one. So friends,
Sure.
this is what yeah, I mean, if any one of you also want to come and just want to check their preparation with respect to Scrum Master, you can reach out to me. My email ID is already given at a lot of places. I will also put in this description of this box, and then we'll see how it goes. So thanks everyone for watching. Please do comment and let us know if you really want to see this kind of session in future. Thanks. Bye everyone.